When we're learning to solve equations, one of the things that can really mess us up is if we're having to deal with fractions or decimals. So what I want to do is look at how we can deal with fractions and decimals. For example, if you look at this first equation here, we've got 1/2 x plus 5 equals 15. Well, maybe we don't like the fact that there's a 1/2 there. Well, we can clear that because, remember, for equations, we can multiply both sides by anything we want as long as we do it to both sides, except 0. Okay. So I want to get rid of this 2. So what I want to do is multiply through by 2. I want to multiply every term by 2. And now look what you get. This 2 and this 2 cancel. So now we have x plus 10 equals 30. Now this is an equation that we can solve easily because now I can just say, well, minus 10 on both sides, and I get x equals 20. Yeah, so we solved it. Now, let's move on and look at this next one. Here we've got 2/3 x plus 1/6 x equals 2. So what I'm recommending here is that we get rid of that 3 and that 6. And what we want to do is we want to multiply by the least common denominator. We want to multiply by whatever will divide both of these fractions out. And if you look at the 6 and the 3, that would be of the 6. So I'm going to multiply through by 6. Every term by 6. Now I can divide. So 6 divided by 3, that's 2. 6 divided by 6, see? So now look what we have. We have 2 times 2x, that's the first term, plus x, that's the second term, equals 12. So this is 4x plus x equals 12. Combine like terms, and we get 5x equals 12, divide by the 5, and we get x equals 12/5. So notice, all we did was we just multiplied by whatever will divide both of those numbers out, both of those denominators. Now let's look at the next one. We have 1/4 x plus 3 times x plus 1 equals 3. Now, what I want to do is, I want to get rid of that 4 in the denominator. So let me just multiply through by 4. I multiply every term by 4. Now that will get rid of the 4, but it won't get rid of this 3 over here. So I need to also multiply by 3. Okay, so here I go. I want to multiply by 3. In other words, what it amounts to is I'm multiplying through by 12. Now, we could have said that from the beginning. We could have said, well, let's always just multiply through by the product of all the denominators. In other words, I got 4 and 3. Let's just multiply through by 12. Because dig this 4 cancels with that 4. Nothing cancels for the second term, but over here the 3's cancel. Now let's see what's left. We've got x plus, let's see here. We've got 4 times 3 times 3, x plus 1 equals 4. See, nothing canceled for that second term. And so what we've got is we've got x plus 36, x plus 1. See? 4 times 3, that's 12, times 3, that's 36. Then, next thing we do is we clear the parentheses. Okay, like that. Gather like terms together. Now notice I've got the 36 over here. I need to subtract that from both sides. And I get 37x equals negative 32. The last thing is just divide by the coefficient of the x, and we get x is equal to negative 32 over 37. And there's our solution. So notice what I did here. I just multiplied every term by a product of the denominators. And then getting rid of those fractions maybe decreases the likelihood that I'll make some kind of arithmetic mistake. Now, let's suppose we have decimals, like 0.4x plus 0.3 equals 5. Okay, well, here's what I want to think about. Remember, if you multiply something like, let's suppose you've got 0.4 times 10. Remember what that 10 does. It moves the decimal one place to the right. So this is just going to be 4. So notice it's just 4.0 now. If I took the 0.4 and multiplied by 100, that would move the decimal 2 places to the right. So I would get 40. The thing is, multiplying by 1 with some zeros after it will move the decimal, however many zeros you got, that many places to the right. So let's consider this first problem here. And let's suppose I want to clear out that fraction. Well, what if I multiply through by 10? Well, if I multiply 0.4 times 10, that would just be 4. 0.3 times 10, that would be 3. And 5 times 10 would be 50. In other words, what we're doing is we're just going to move the decimal to the right one place. And it's okay as long as I do it to every term. See? It's just like I multiplied through by 10. That's what happened there. So now look what you have. You have 4x minus 3 on both sides, and you got negative or positive 47. Whoops. And now just divide by 4. So x equals 47 over 4. Yeah, no worries. Now if you look at this next one, I've got a 0.25 and a 0.4. I need to get rid of all my decimals. So what I'm going to do is move every decimal 2 places to the right, because if I just move 1 place to the right, I'm going to have a 0.25 right here. But I don't, so I'd still have a decimal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move everything 2 places to the right. So this is going to be 25x plus 40x equals 200. See? I just moved every decimal 2 places to the right, because to get rid of this decimal fully, I had to multiply by, I had to move that decimal 2 places to the right. So I have to do that to everything. And remember, it's just like I'm multiplying through by 100. So this is going to be 65x equals 200. And then that means that x equals 200 over 65. Yeah, that's all there is to it. Now, of course, we could reduce this fraction because 5 will go into each one of these, but I'm just leaving it like this for now so that we can just see how we've reduced it. And you could just turn that into a decimal, say 200 divided by 65, and end the problem in decimal form. Now let's look at this next one. We've got 0.2x, 1.2x plus 1 equals 3. So here's what we do. We move the decimals, each 1 place to the right. Now notice I didn't do anything to the inside of the parentheses. You just, for each term, you pick one number, move the decimal that many places to the right. So I'm just clearing my fractions out. That's all I'm doing. And now dig this. I've got 2x, clear my parentheses. Gather my like terms. Isolate the x term, so I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. And I get 14x equals, let's see here, I guess this would be 18. Okay. And then divide by 14. And you get x equals 18 over 14. And once again, you could divide the 2 out. You know, I guess you get 9/7, but I'll just leave it like this for now. But that's how we can deal with fractions and decimals. So remember, with fractions, multiply through by a product of the denominators. So let's just look at this in summary. Let's suppose we've got 4/5 x plus 2/3 x equals 3. Okay? Multiply through by 15. So this is just summary. 15 here, 15 here, and 15 here. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And now look what we've got. We've got 3 times 4, x, plus 5 times 2x equals 45. This is 12x plus 10x equals 45. Notice I just multiplied through by a product of the denominators. Now I get 22x equals 45. Divide by 22. There. Okay. Now let's suppose that we've got 2.3x, or let me not make it that way. Let me make it 1.2x plus 0.23x equals, let's say 2, something like that. I've got to clear the fractions completely, or the decimals. Notice I have to move this decimal 2 places to the right to get totally rid of it. So I'm going to multiply everything. I'm going to move every decimal 2 places. Okay? See? I just moved every decimal 2 places to the right. Now I've got 1223 x equals 200. Divide by 1223. And there's my solution. So this is how you deal with fractions and decimals. Actually, I guess I made a mistake here, didn't I? If I move the decimal 2 places to the right, that wouldn't be 1200, would it? Let me go back. Look at this. You got to be careful. This would be 120. There we go. Because if I move it there we go. I messed up, didn't I? So that would be 143x equals 200. Divide, and you get 200 divided by 143. So you can see you got to be careful. Moving that decimal can get tricky, so just be very careful. 1.2, move it 2 places. There's 1 place, 2 places. Okay, so you get 120, not 1200 like I said earlier. So that's how you do it.